Hello everyone, welcome back to the Zekko football channel. Heung-Min Son is a player reformed, reignited with a new fire, and thanks to Ange Postecoglou we've managed to see Heung-Min Son hit his goal scoring form once more. Today we're going to be diving down into what Ange has done to help Son regain this goal scoring touch. If you are new to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe, you like the video and you turn on those notifications. It really helps me out and is very much appreciated. But now, let's talk Heung-Min Son. We're going to start with this, and it's a stat comparison between last season, the 22-23 season, and this current season. I've got the 2022-23 season up here, and just to begin with, from looking at the heat map, he's generally around this midfield area, not necessarily penetrating into the box all too much, and at the same time he's also quite defensive, picking up a lot of spaces towards the further back left hand side. And we can also have a look at some of his statistics. He's played 36 times last season for Tottenham in the Premier League, 33 of those were starts. He actually scored 10 goals in that time for an XG of 10.08. And at the same time, he's also got a goal conversion rate of 12%. Now, that's not necessarily too amazing, but if we would compare that with this season, it really is night and day. First of all, you can automatically see from the heat map, he's getting himself further towards the box, much closer towards the penalty area, making sure that he's getting closer towards goal. Yes, he has sometimes out on this left-hand side, but he's generally been gravitating towards a more central area, and that's because of the role that he currently fits into in this Tottenham Hotspur side. He's played 10 matches, started 10 of them, and he averages 80 minutes per game. But what he's actually got is 8 goals in those 10 appearances from an XG of only 4.29. So he's really clinical. He's actually got a goal conversion rate of 29%. If you compare that to the 12% that he had last season, that is an incredible change. And it just goes to show what kind of improvement changes into a player's position can make on their overall performance. Just brilliant. Last season under Antonio Conte, Heung-Min Son was out on this left-hand side, and while I do think it is his favoured position, he also was having far too much asked of him. With the way that Tottenham played last season, it wasn't great, was it? It was very defensive, favouring an option of not having the ball, but when they did get it, they did look for Heung-Min Son to break on that transition, but the amount of space that he needed to cover to even try and get some kind of opportunity was asking far too much of him. There were too many obstacles and too many opponents for Son to try and beat, that when he actually got towards goal, he ended up fluffing his lines. Now, a lot of that is on Son himself as well. He did not find a good vein of form whatsoever, but I think it's the restricted nature of the play that Tottenham had last year that really started to stifle Son. Fast forward to this season under Ange Postecoglou, and already out on this left-hand side, he seemed like a freer player. The ability to utilise and maintain possession allowed Son to really work the ball with his teammates, bringing others into play and allowing him to pick up better pockets of space. But fast forward to now, and it seems like Son has taken up this central striking role. This is down to a couple of reasons. Richarlison just was not doing it. He's struggling to find a good vein of form, very much like Son was last season. But Son has really started to find his shooting boots, which means that moving him into the centre of the pitch just gives Tottenham that little bit of an edge. But when Son is playing in the centre of the park, Ange Postecoglou actually said in a recent interview that he looked at the transition that Cristiano Ronaldo made from that left wing to a striking role when he was playing his final seasons for Manchester United. And I actually do agree with him. There are some technicalities and there are some tendencies that both players share. Son is very good at finishing. His ability on the ball is also very good. And at the same time, he can play on the last line of defence. His pace and power and his ability to finish within a moment is some of the best that we've seen in the Premier League recently. When we look at the way that Son can set up, he can drop a little bit deeper and bring others into play. He likes to link up with the likes of a James Maddison, but at the same time, he can pick up half areas out on this right-hand and left-hand side, just within the penalty area. It allows him to utilise his burst of speed from small margins and small yardage, and it also makes sure that he's able to be on the last line of defence and really make himself a nuisance for those opposition defenders. His ability to drop a little bit deeper and then bring in the ball with a good first touch and bring others into play makes him that little bit more elusive, almost like the centre-backs aren't having anyone to mark at the moment. allowing the two wingers to really burst in down the flanks and maintain Tottenham's possession. Son can then reverse back and then go towards the area. His finishing is absolutely superb, and his goal conversion is something that I think needs talking about a little bit more. He's almost the perfect striker for Spurs because he's able to receive the ball on the half turn and then spin him behind. At the same time, he can also hold the ball up whenever Spurs need him to. Not that that is the case at the moment with the amount of ball possession that Spurs are maintaining. His ability to bring others into play is a very, very good asset, and as I've said, his finishing is world class. It really seems to have transferred him and really rejuvenated Son into this new central striker, and who knows how many goals he's going to be able to score in this free-flowing, free-attacking Tottenham side. It really is a massive transition. Let's have a look at some in-match moments, because Heung-Min Son's role has just completely changed under Ange Postecoglou. The ball is being switched over. This is the game against Crystal Palace, and it's actually Tottenham Hotspur's second goal. The ball is going over to Brennan Johnson, who's going to play a pass into James Maddison, who is already on his bike. But so is Heung-Min Son right here. He's going to make a couple of darting runs, both towards the front post and towards the back post, to try and get away from Mark Gay, who is currently marking him. The ball goes forward and the play continues. And just watch Son's movement. He's going to run towards the front post and then double back towards the back post. Very, very small incremental movement, but it gives him enough space around these Crystal Palace players to be able to take his shot and finish with a treat. Brilliant movement from Tottenham, brilliant, fantastic movement from Son, and you wouldn't have seen this last season. This is the game against Fulham. It's actually Heung-Min Son's first goal. Brilliantly worked. He's got so much space, so much time. Horrendous defending from Fulham. But Richarlison manages to find him, and it's all about Son's first touch. Can he swivel and turn? Yes, of course he can, because he has that class. He has that ability. And watch, he's being converged upon by two Fulham players. Does he have enough ability and awareness to be able to move away from them? Yes, he does. He actually manages to get them to bump into each other in quite hilarious fashion, actually. If we just zoom in on that for a moment, he's going to take his shot, and he has the ability to really scream it from quite a distance. Great shot, great finish, and just really well worked. And remember what I spoke about Son bringing others into play. James Maddison is about to make a run towards the box. Heung-Min Son has just received a long pass. He's actually going to lay this off for Maddison for the first goal. He takes his time, he takes his touch, and then manages to bring Maddison into play, and that's where the goal comes from. Let's now have a look at another goal that Heung-Min Son scores. This is the first goal they score against Arsenal. It's poor defending from Bukayo Saka, but James Maddison currently has the ball. He's going to play it towards the byline and then into the centre of the pitch. But just watch Son. Son is right here. Just watch what he manages to do. He manages to just make that little movement infield towards the front post. And it's these little movements that strikers make that just make them so much more dangerous to be able to play against. In and amongst so many Arsenal players, let's count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, and Son is really the only player that's on the move. James Maddison manages to find him, and in between 3 Arsenal players, we have Heung-Min Son making first contact on the ball from James Maddison. A brilliant, brilliant finish, and this is a player who's in top form, who has the confidence of his manager, and who has the confidence and belief in himself that he's able to finish these chances. That is a very, very tight angle, acute, and it's just brilliantly worked and brilliantly finished. Let's take another look at the second goal that Tottenham score against Arsenal. Jorginho obviously dallies on the ball, but it's the pressing game that Heung-Min Son actually has in these moments as well, with James Maddison and the rest of this Tottenham Hotspur side. There's a reason why Arsenal made this mistake, and it's because of the intensity that Tottenham brought to the game. Yes, Jorginho is dallying, yes, he's lazy, but I think Tottenham massively capitalised, and it's the movement and the ability and the awareness from this Tottenham Hotspur side who plays it into Heung-Min Son, who's able to finish with a treat in that bottom left-hand corner. Again, brilliantly worked, fantastically taken. And finally, let's have a look at another moment. This is the game against Liverpool. The ball is being played in through the lines between, but look at Heung-Min Son. He's actually behind Virgil van Dijk and the Liverpool defenders, but he managed to make that sprinting run. Remember, I always spoke about his burst of pace over a small amount of yards. Richarlison's going to play that ball in, but it's Heung-Min Son's pace, his determination, and his quality to be able to get to the ball first. It's absolutely fantastic. This is a better view of it. The ball actually comes through the centre of the pitch, making sure that it's bypassing both the fullback and the centre-back, and Richarlison makes a good run, a good pass, but Heung-Min Son, as I've said, is just behind both Liverpool centre-backs, and he actually makes this run towards the ball faster than the two Liverpool centre-backs can interfere with play. It's just brilliantly worked. But here's the final thing that I wanted to show you, and it's about Son's movement. It's his mannerisms just before the goal. James Maddison is about to play this pass over to Richarlison. We can see this here. He's just played the ball, but look at Son. Matip is standing still. Van Dijk is standing still. McAllister still. All of these are still. Who is not? Who is turning? Who is on his bike? Who is ready to anticipate the moment? And it's Heung-Min Son. Brilliantly done. He spins before anyone else, and it's this moment, it's these small incremental moments that allow him to get the better of the defenders that he's playing against. Again, they're just turning, but Heung-Min Son is currently fast forwarding, sprinting towards the ball. It's brilliant centre forward play. He's going to get on the end of it before these two players. Just fantastically worked. I'm going to show you what he looks like here. There he is. There's Matip, and it was Son's goal all day round because of the determination, because of the anticipation that he has from the pass. Beautifully worked by Tottenham, but it's this new role and system that Ange Postecoglou has given Heung-Min Son that's given him the license and the ability to score all of these goals. Genius, brilliantly worked, and Son has found his form once again. At this rate, he's on for 20 plus goals with ease. But my question to you is, how do you think Heung-Min Son will do this season? And how well do you think Ange Postecoglou has done to get the very best out of him? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, take care.